Hey there, I know it's been a while, I apologize, but here I am, back from my hibernation cave. um, yeah, I'm just not a winter person, I suppose. Anyway, I realized you really like it when I talked to you last time. Thank you so much for your kind feedback, by the way, I appreciate it so much. So as you enjoyed it, I decided that today I will bring you another episode of my random thoughts. Which, to be honest, today are not super random because I've been reflecting on this for a while. I just thought that some of you could be interested in knowing how I've been able to shoot consistently for the last 15 or 16 months. So let me tell you about it. So I've always been passionate about photography. I got my first camera when I was just a child, but when I reached my 20s, something happened. I'm not sure what exactly. I guess that just a variety of factors. That I kind of stopped shooting consistently, and a lot of anxiety started to appear every time I took my camera, basically. So for about a decade, I just wasn't really able to be consistent with my photography or to feel motivated again to enjoy it, even though I was really craving it. So in the end of 2022, I decided that it was enough and that I had to stop avoiding what was going on with me. So I decided to take action. I faced myself. I tried to pay attention honestly to what was happening inside my head when I was feeling this anxiety. And one important thing I realized was that seeing my images right in the moment of shooting was giving me high levels of anxiety. My inner critic started to shout unstoppably. So I thought that using a film camera could help me to avoid that, since you have to wait a little bit until you see the results. And also I've been wanting to shoot film for a while, so I bought my first camera. And with all the motivation that a new old camera can bring, I set myself the goal, and the only goal, of shooting consistently at least one roll a month. That was it. And I know this can sound like nothing for some of you, but I wanted to set an achievable goal. I knew that if I was able to do at least that, or at least I had the intuition that this was going to help me to get out of this blog and to change step by step this toxic perfectionist mindset. And this also included the explicit note to myself that said that these images didn't have to be good. My only aim was to be consistent. That was it. I knew I had to create a safe space in which I could allow myself to learn and to fail. And I have to say that to set these simple parameters was immensely helpful. Because the thing about this over-demanding mindset, if you have been there, you know, is that it's not rational at all. It doesn't matter how much you tell someone, hey, relax, it's just a picture. Of course, there is this rational part of us that knows pretty well that having a crappy photo or whatever art is your blog about is not really a big deal. But when we are going through a blog, or at least what I have discovered in myself when I go through a blog, is that my emotions and my inner voices are not aligned with my rational thinking. So the process of making these voices softer and proving to ourselves that they are not necessarily telling the truth is, at least in my case, very slow, and it has to be done from a place of tenderness, respect, and affection. Otherwise, it just doesn't work. Because if I observe these harsh voices closely, I realize that I know it's a part of me, but it's just easier to detach myself from these voices and seeing them with perspective. So I realized that these voices are just terrified, that they are trying somehow to protect me from something that feels super threatening. And every time I try to expose myself to that thing that seems to be threatening to them, like failing or exposing my work to people's judgment, they become super aggressive and resistant. So basically, it's my damaged part that needs some attention and healing, step by step, just like a traumatized little creature. When I observe these voices, I usually think of my cat, Wati. If you have been in this channel for a while, you know her. When my partner and I adopted her, she hated us so much. She was terribly scared. So it took us a while to convince her that we were not a threat, that this was going to be her home, etc., etc. And it helps me so much to see these voices as a little scared kitten. In that way, I stop hating these voices and I stop avoiding them. When I see them as my little cat, I feel I can approach them with compassion and understanding. I think I have learned to accept that these voices had their function at a certain stage of my life, but they don't make sense for my current reality anymore. And through action, through small steps, little by little, I've been able to show them, that means, of course, showing to myself, that there is nothing to fear anymore, that I can fail and that doesn't jeopardize who I am. And now, after this time, after these months, they still exist, of course, but they are much more flexible and less categorical than before, I have to say. I can more or less easily accept that if I don't get the results that I want, I will eventually get there through actual action, through shooting. And additionally to that, if this is not enough motivation for you, I naturally started to shoot more than one roll a month. And I was able to find again the fun and joy that always came along with photography. And of course, more than once, I liked my results, which is fantastic. Anyway, so this year, 2024, I feel super ready to set myself other objectives. I plan now to have a couple of photographic personal projects to add more conditions to what I want to achieve with my images. And I feel I have a good foundation in which I can trust. I know now that I won't stop shooting. I know that I won't put more pressure of what I can resist. And I know that I will allow myself to fail, because I have all of these months of practice that confirm to me that I can do it. I can deal with anxiety, I can be constant enough, I can respect my rhythm, even if it doesn't match the world's rhythm, because one good thing about having a passion is that it's personal and no one has to tell us how to live it. And that's an idea that helps me a lot every time I see that I'm comparing myself to someone else, or that I'm putting too much pressure on my shoulders. Anyway, so this is a part of what this process has been, probably the main part. There are other branches of this process, like surrounding myself with people that can support me, or having reference that motivate me to continue. But I don't want this to be endless or overwhelm you with all of these feelings. So I'm going to stop here. I hope my experience helped some of you. I know not everyone's experiences are the same, but maybe some of you will connect with mine. And as this channel is about my photography path, I thought it could be interesting to share this part of the process, which for me has been the most important and eye-opening. And by the way, in this video I'm shooting Portra 800. I stretch the duration of my chemicals, so some of the images look a little washed out, just in case you want to know. And the video is just a part of my last weekend. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for listening. Remember to subscribe, like and share if you are liking this content. And please let me know your comments about your personal processes, your blogs, your new projects for this year. I would really love to know that. And thank you again. See you in the next video. Bye bye.